The Canadian real estate market right now is an awful lot like the weather, a whole lot warmer than it normally is. We've got sales that are well above normal, and the number of homes for sale is well below normal. This is your November 2021 Canadian real estate market update. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Canadian real estate market update here on Bald Prairie Real Estate. If you're a returning viewer, thanks a lot. You're awesome. And if you are a new viewer, my name is Matthew Pfeifer. I'm a real estate agent from Regina, Saskatchewan, and I want to educate you about anything and everything real estate in Canada. These Canadian real estate market updates are always broken up into sections covering each individual city, so you can check out the timeline below here and jump directly to the city that you would like to learn about most. If you are thinking about buying or selling a house, I know a fantastic agent that lives in your city that I can get you set up with, that I can promise you is going to take care of you, make sure that process is smooth and awesome. Just shoot me an email, I'll put my contact information below, and I'll get the ball rolling on that for you. But as always, let's start off with another terrible joke. How does Lady Gaga like her steak? Thank you to Susie who sent me that joke. If you have another terrible joke that I can use in a future episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate, put it in the comments below so I can share it with all the other viewers that love these terrible jokes. If you like keeping an update on the real estate market in Canada, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done it already. Starting off out west in Victoria, and it's probably gonna sound like a broken record at this point, but they'd probably sell more homes in Victoria if there were more available to be sold. That being said, still had 745 homes sold in the month. That's down 25% from last year. Again, remember, last year was crazy. It's up 3% over their 5-year average, or typically is about 720 homes sold in a month. There were 850 homes put up for sale last month in Victoria. That's down 28% from last year and down 14% from their 5-year average, where typically is about 980 homes put up for sale in the month. There are just over 1,000 homes for sale right now in Victoria, and that is down 43% from last year. It's down 48% from their 5-year average, where typically it's closer to 2,000 homes available at this time of year, and it's a third of what their 10-year average is. Months of inventory in Victoria, 1.4, down from last month's 2.8. We're still really squarely in a seller's market in Victoria right now. That strong seller's market continues to push up the price in Victoria. It's now $870,000. That is up 21% from last year. In last month's update, I talked about how in the month of October in Victoria, typically see a jump in activity. Number of homes sold and the number of homes that come up for sale usually go up. We saw the number of homes sold go up, but we never saw that jump in new listings. And that meant overall inventory declined. That's what still continued to put upward pressure on home prices in Victoria. While the Vancouver real estate market might actually be more balanced than a number of other cities on this market update, it's still really busy. There were just under 3,500 homes sold last month in Vancouver. That's down 5% from last year, but it's up 27% from their 5-year average, which is typically around 2,700 homes sold in a month. It's also 22% above their 10-year average. The just over 4,000 homes put up for sale in Vancouver last month is down 27% from last year and down 12% from their 5-year average, where typically it's about 4,600 homes put up for sale in the month. Currently right now in Vancouver, there's about 8,000 homes for sale. That is down 28% from last year. It's down 22% from their 5-year average, where typically there's over 10,000 homes for sale this time of year. That means months of inventory is down from last month. It's now at 2.3. That low inventory and strong buyer demand continues to push up prices in Vancouver. We're now talking almost $1.2 million for their composite benchmark price. That's all property types wrapped up into one. That is up 15% from last year. We had seen a couple of months previously where prices appear to be kind of flattening, and now they're back on the rise in Vancouver. Talking with local real estate agents in Vancouver, a couple of pieces of information I think are really valuable. The price of townhouses is up 18.5% from last year. Condos were up 10% from last year. And single-family homes, that's up over 20% in prices from last year. There's still a large number of buyers out looking for homes that haven't been able to find anything yet. So there's still a lot of pent-up demand on the buyer side of things. And in terms of market activity and months of inventory, townhouses and condos are still sellers markets. Months of inventory for townhouses, 1.6. Months of inventory for condos is 2.1. That's the seller's market. By the time this year is over, sales in Calgary are likely going to be 50 or 60% above their 5-year average. They had over 2,100, nearly 2,200 homes sold last month. That's up 24% from last year and up 47% from their 5-year average, where typically it's just under 1,500 homes sold in a month. 2,500 properties were put up for sale in the month in Calgary. That's up 2% from last year. It's up 3% from their 5-year average, which is closer to 2,400 homes put up for sale in the month. There are just about 4,900 homes currently for sale in Calgary. That's down 3% from last year, down 16% from their 5-year average, where there's generally closer to 5,800 homes for sale at this time of year. That means months of inventory is 2.2, down from last month's 3 months of inventory. The composite benchmark price in Calgary is up 10%. It's now over $460,000. Typically this time of year in Calgary, we see prices starting to slip a little bit. We had been seeing that, and then a little bit of a jump this month. Talking with local real estate agents in Calgary, some of the insight they gave me, of course, single family homes continue to sell very well in Calgary, and that's the strongest part of the market. But last month, 50% of all the condo sales were in the downtown condo market. So they're starting to see a little bit of action in that segment now. The prices of single family homes higher than they ever have been. Condos and townhouses are still needing a little bit of time to recover, but they're on their way up. A little under 1,900 homes were sold in Edmonton last month. That is up 12% from last year and up 31% from their 5-year average, where typically there's about 1,400 homes sold in the month. There were just over 2,700 homes put up for sale last month in Edmonton. That's down 1% from last year. It is up 8% over their 5-year average. Typically there's about 2,500 homes put up for sale in the month. There's just over 6,800 homes currently for sale in Edmonton. That is up 10% from last year. It's down 5% from their 5-year average, where typically there's about 7,200 homes up for sale right now. There's 3.7 months of inventory in Edmonton, down from last month's 4 months of inventory, trending back. We're still in that buffer zone between a seller's market and balanced market, but they're trending back towards seller's market in Edmonton. The composite benchmark price in Edmonton is about $340,000. And that's up 6% from last year. We are seeing it trend down. That's typical this time of year, but I'm curious to see if they follow Calgary, which Edmonton often does. We'll see if we get a little of a price jump in the next month or two. We'll have to check back on that. The Regina real estate market continues to be much busier than normal, with 274 homes sold last month. That is down 6% from last year, but it's up 19% from the 5-year average, which is about 230 homes. That 274 homes sold is almost the exact same as the 275 homes we typically see sold in the month of July. Just under 440 homes were put up for sale last month. That is up 8% from last year and up 6% from the 5-year average, where there's usually just a little over 400 homes put up for sale in the month. There's a little over 1,100 homes currently for sale in Regina. That's up 10% from last year, but it is down 11% from the 5-year average. Typically there's about 1,250 homes for sale this time of year. That jump in new listings puts months of inventory at 4.2. That's up just slightly from last month's 4.1. That's shifting Regina a little bit more to a balanced market, but this is still very deceiving. Single family homes continue to sell well, especially around $400,000, whereas the townhouse and condo market, although that's getting a little bit better, it's still more of a balance to a buyer's market. The composite benchmark price in Regina is higher than last year, but it has come down the last couple of months. Right now it's $262,800. That's up about 3% from last year. Typically though in these fall months, we see prices cool off just a little bit. Generally, January's when they'll bottom out and start creeping back up starting in February. The Regina market typically follows the Saskatoon market, which we'll talk about in just 1 second here, and they had a very busy month, so I'm curious to see if we see a bump like that in Regina coming up, or if that was just a one-off in Saskatoon. But either way, it's been a very busy month in Regina. With 426 homes sold last month in Saskatoon, that is a massive month for them. It's down 1% from last year, but it's up 36% from their 5-year average, where typically there's only about 325 homes sold in a month. There was a little under 600 homes put up for sale. That's down 6% from last year and down 3% from their 5-year average, where typically there's just over 600 homes put up for sale in the month. There's a little over 1,200 homes currently for sale in Saskatoon. That's down 8% from last year, down 22% from their 5-year average. Usually it's about 1,550 homes for sale at this time of year. That big month of sales pushed down months of inventory. 2.8 right now, down from last month's 3.3. Home prices in Saskatoon are basically flat right now, although it's still up 6% from last year. It's about $326,000 right now. I'm not sure anyone expected that big of a month in Saskatoon, over 400 sales. We'll have to see if this is kind of a blip in the radar or if this is a continuation of what's been a very busy year in Saskatoon. There were just over 1,500 homes sold last month in Winnipeg. That is actually down 6% from last year. There's over 1,700 homes put up for sale in the month. That is equal to last year. There's about 2,600 active listings right now in Winnipeg, and that is down 17% from last year. Months of inventory in Winnipeg is 1.7 right now. That's down from last month's 1.9. We're still very squarely in a seller's market in Winnipeg there with months of inventory. Benchmark price, $318,000, and that is up 11% from last year. Talking with local real estate agents, they did see that rise in inventory, but it's just not enough to keep up with that strong demand from buyers, and demand from buyers continues to outstrip the number of homes that are being put up for sale, which is pushing prices up. The seemingly never-ending hot market in Toronto continues again this month. The number of homes being sold is well above normal levels, and inventory is really low. They desperately need more homes to become available for sale and new construction to ramp up to match the demand that's going on right now in Toronto. There's over 9,700 homes sold last month in Toronto. That's down 7% from last year, but it's up 13% from their 5-year average. And this is the second most number of homes ever sold in the month of October, second to only last year. The 11,700 homes put up for sale last month in Toronto, well, that's down 34% from last year. It's down 20% from their 5-year average, where typically it's closer to 15,000 homes put up for sale in the month. And like last month, this month was the fewest number of homes put up for sale in Toronto in a very long time. And this is where the Toronto numbers really start to get scary. 7,700 active listings right now, down 44% from last year, down 44% from their 5-year average. There's typically 13,000 homes available for sale this time of year. The months of inventory actually crept up a little bit. It's 1.4 right now in Toronto, up from last month's 1.1. That is still a very strong seller's market, but there's some kind of nuances, and we'll talk about that in the local insight section. The composite benchmark price in Toronto continues to increase. That composite benchmark price, again, is all property types combined into one. That's $1.128 million right now, up 24% from last year, and they still continue to chase Vancouver, where we're at $1.2 million for their benchmark price there. I alluded to this earlier, but when talking with local real estate agents in Toronto, they mentioned how the number of homes put up for sale with an offer date that failed to sell on that offer date has increased. One I was talking to said how he'd listed a place at $550,000. They didn't get any action on it. They reduced the price to about $520,000, I believe it was. And then they got a bunch of multiple offers and sold for $545,000. So basically what they were asking for to begin with. So it seems that unless sellers are really underpricing it, they're not getting those multiple offer situations as often in Toronto right now. I think we can take the crown off of Ottawa as the hottest market in Canada and move it somewhere else. We'll talk about that in one second, but we are seeing prices cool off a little bit in Ottawa. There's a little under 1,700 homes sold for the month in Ottawa. That's down 22% from last year. It's up 27% from their 5-year average. Typically, there's about 1,320 homes sold in a month. 1,960 homes were put up for sale last month in Ottawa. It's down 26% from last year, down 4% from the 5-year average. They're starting to get better there, closing on that 5-year average. It's about 2,000 homes typically put up for sale in the month. Little over 1,770 active listings right now in Ottawa. That's up 16% from last year. It's still down 61% from that 5-year average, where typically there's about 5,200 homes for sale this time of year in Ottawa. Months of inventory in Ottawa continues to be around 1.1 months of inventory, still a very strong seller's market. We had seen a couple of months in a row with about 2,000 homes available for sale. We've now dropped below that again. The composite benchmark price in Ottawa, about $640,000, has slipped the last couple of months. There's been more choice for buyers. There's been more inventory out there, and that's caused prices to soften. But now we're seeing market inventory conditions start to tighten back up, and that will put upward pressure on prices if that trend continues. Market activity in Montreal is actually trending up a little bit after a couple of slow months through the summer. There are a little over 4,300 homes sold in Montreal last month. That's down 25% from last year, but up about 8% from their 5-year average, where typically there's just a little under 4,000 homes sold in the month. There were 5,500 homes put up for sale last month in Montreal. That's down 24% from last year. It's down 9% from their 5-year average, where typically there's gonna be about 6,000 homes put up for sale in the month. The approximately 11,200 homes for sale currently right now in Montreal, well, that's down 18% from last year and down 47% from their 5-year average, where typically there's about 21,000 homes for sale right now in Montreal. Months of inventory is down, it's 2.6, down from last month's 3.3 months of inventory in Montreal. That strong month of sales has pushed prices back up. It had a couple of months of flat prices in Montreal, but now that composite benchmark price is a little over $500,000, which is up 18% from last year. And when I was talking with real estate agents in Montreal, they said it kind of felt a lot like last month. A lot of similar conditions. The condo market continues to improve, and it's still a very strong seller's market overall in Montreal. I said in the Ottawa segment, I was taking away the crown from Ottawa as Canada's hottest real estate market. I'm gonna put that crown right now on Halifax. Things continue to sizzle there. 619 homes sold last month. It's down 21% from last year. They had a really big month last year. 657 new listings, that is down 31% from last year. There's only 330 active listings right now in Halifax. And just think about that for a second. There's half as many listings for sale right now as there were sales last month. Really, really busy in Halifax right now. Months of inventory, 0.6, 2 weeks worth of inventory in Halifax. That's just how crazy they are right now. The average price right now is $475,000, and that's up 22% from last year. After talking with real estate agents in Halifax, one thing that stuck out to me was on average, houses are selling for 16% above their asking price, and the number of new listings, that continues to decline. Overall inventory continues to decline, and that's putting that significant upward pressure on prices in the Halifax area. Like I said in the intro, this market is way warmer than it normally is this time of year. These sales numbers are more what you'd expect to see in the summer months, not in fall months. And while a number of these cities here in Canada have gotten really expensive over the last little bit, there are some really cheap places to buy houses in Canada. I did a video, I'm gonna put it up right here, of the most affordable cities to buy a house in Canada. A few of them are on this list. And right here is what the YouTube algorithm says you need to learn about next on Bald Prairie Real Estate. And as always, guys, thanks very much for watching.